E.N.D here. March of the Machine has a returning mechanic ideal to cast spells using your creatures. Convoke. Convoke is a keyword ability first introduced and associated with the Celestia White and Green Guild from Ravnica. Convoke works by allowing a player to tap creatures rather than pay some of the mana cost of a spell. Each creature that is tapped pays for either 1 generic mana or colorless, or 1 mana of one of the creature's colors. By nature, this is a green ability, turning green's affinity for creatures into a way to accelerate big spells. Though, as the Celestia Guild mechanic, it's also found in white, a color also known for having many creatures. Nonetheless, from Magic 2015 to March of the Machine, there are Convoke spells for all colors and on artifacts. But how do you play Convoke? Let's build our battlefield and let's put some lands in play. 2 forests, 2 islands and a Simic Guildgate. And let's cast Transcendent Message X, and for blue, instant with Convoke, draw X cards. But wait, with this current board state, I cannot cast the spell because I don't have lands that can produce and give me the 4 blue mana needed. So let's add some creatures. I'm going to put a blue creature, 3 green creatures, a wall, a colorless artifact creature, and shark to crab. And let's cast again Transcendent Message. Now that I have creatures in play, I can Convoke. I'm going to cast my Transcendent Message with X equals 7. It's very important that before paying any mana, especially casting Convoke spells with X in their mana cost, to declare the value of X before tapping any lands or creatures. Now that I declared my spell, I'm going to tap my 5 lands to produce 2 green mana and 3 blue mana. Tap my Aerial Guide to produce the 4th mana needed. Tap the other creatures to produce 5 generic mana. The 3 green creatures could have produced 3 green mana instead of generic mana. The artifact can only produce 1 generic mana or colorless, and the shark to crab could have produced 1 green mana or 1 blue mana. In my mana pool, I have 4 blue mana, 2 green mana, and 5 generic mana, and that's enough mana to cast my Transcendent Message X equals 7. Any spell with Convoke, it's a normal spell. Therefore, when you pay the mana by either lands or creatures or a mix and cast it, it will go on the stack. There can be a counter, there can be a response, nothing happens, and the spell resolves. Once Transcendent Message resolves, in my case, I will draw 7 cards. Some notes. You can tap only untapped creatures you control to pay for a spell with Convoke that you cast. Creatures tapped by Convoke cannot be used to attack. You can use creatures with Summoning Sickness to pay for the Convoke cost. Convoke doesn't change a spell's mana cost or converted mana cost. For example, the converted mana cost of Endless Obedience is 6, even if you tapped 6 creatures to cast it. When calculating a spell's total cost, include any alternative cost, additional cost, or anything else that increases or reduces the cost to cast the spell. Convoke applies after the total cost is calculated. Because Convoke isn't an alternative cost, it can be used in conjunction with alternative cost. Tapping a multicolor creature using Convoke will pay for 1 generic mana or 1 mana of your choice of any of that creature's colors. More colors the creature has, more options you have. When using Convoke to cast a spell with X in its mana cost, first choose the value for X. That choice plus any cost increases or decreases will determine the spell's total cost. Then you can tap creatures you control to help pay that cost. like in our case with Transcendent Message. If a creature you control has a mana ability with tap in the cost, activating that ability while casting a spell with Convoke will result in the creature being tapped when you pay the spell's cost. You won't be able to tap it again for Convoke. Similarly, if you sacrifice a creature to activate a mana ability while casting a spell with Convoke, that creature won't be on the battlefield when you pay the spell's cost, so you won't be able to tap it for Convoke. So, this is how you play Convoke. Leave a comment below, what do you think about this mechanic? What do you think about this mechanic returning in standard with March of the Machine? And here, subscribe button. Subscribe for my channel for more and more interesting videos about Magic the Gathering and the collectible world.